Within the gospel of spirituality being told, salvation isn't something you receive, it is something you need to remember. Your soul needs to ascend in an upward direction, but there are forces that will try to block it to ascend to a higher level. Your soul must face itself, the ignorance, desires, fears it carried in life. Facing itself and not some judging God on a throne. If people started to begin to believe the truth within them and bypass hierarchy, dogma, and ritual and fear, then the religions of the world that control the masses would crumble. Their grip would start to weaken. Their institutions would fall. The churches of different religions call it heresy, but us believers of this spiritual gospel call it freedom. We place the divine not in temples but in consciousness. Your soul is not saved through obedience, but knowledge of its origin. This type of knowledge and believing is too disruptive to those who benefit from their order, so they call it blasphemy. Our death isn't an ending, it's a passage, and what waits beyond isn't reward or punishment, it's a confrontation with yourself. This belief calls for inner recognition. It asks you to remember, because your soul does not need forgiveness, it needs awakening. The institutions that are supposedly meant to save you were never interested in your liberation. They were built to shape your beliefs, not to reveal the truth. When it comes to the matter of your death, this belief doesn't dance around the issue with comforting clouds, harps, or golden gates. When death comes, your soul doesn't wait in line for judgment. Your soul is met, tested, and challenged at every stage on the other side. There are forces that want your soul to stay here in this realm, bound by the illusions it never questioned. Your soul will ascend through a series of invisible realms, each one governed by a force that will try to stop it from leaving. These governed forces are not demons, but internalized powers, gatekeeper energies that ask questions like, who do you think you are? Where are you going? What right do you have to escape this realm to ascend to the next higher one? Unless your soul can answer such questions correctly, not with dogma, but with a deep truth, it will be turned back and reincarnated, trapped and made to forget all over again. This gospel doesn't describe a heaven or a hell. It describes a system, a process of spiritual filtration. Your soul doesn't get through each level because you were good in this world. You don't get blocked because you were a bad person. You pass through based on your soul is awake. Awake by having shed all attachments, desires, fears that kept you bound to this physical world. This is not a judgment, it's resonance. Either you vibrate high enough to rise to the next level, or you sink back down. Here in the physical world, it begins with desire. The first force, a soul that embodies craving, grasping, addiction, and ego. You cannot leave the level you're in if your soul is still bound by the force of desire. If your soul agrees that it's bound by desires, even unconsciously, it will remain entangled within it and will not move on to a higher level. But if your soul responds, what bound my soul and held me back has been shed completely, it gets to pass through to the next higher level. Not because your soul recited the correct words to say to the gatekeeper, but because it truly knows better to have shed all desire. Next comes ignorance, not outright stupidity, but spiritual blindness. Your soul will face everything it didn't question in this life, everything that is accepted blindly, every belief that it absorbed without examination. Your ignorance will loudly say, you never looked beyond the surface. You blindly accepted and believed what you were told, obeying without knowing why. Again, your soul must respond, not in defense, but in understanding. Your soul must know enough to state, I have seen through the illusion, I no longer fear the unknown. If it can't, it descends to a lower level. This gospel doesn't promise salvation for passive believers. It doesn't promise salvation to the obedient. It is all very clear. Your soul's journey after your physical body dies is not about being chosen, it's about remembering. And what your soul supports And what your soul is supposed to remember is not a creed or a scripture, but its own essence, its origin, its power. This gospel is supposed to be personal. It speaks in terms of your experience level attained while here on earth, not theology. It does not tell you in what to believe, but to look within your soul and discover what's already there. Any and all truths are not so much external. They are buried inside your soul, beneath the years of distraction, conditioning, and spiritual amnesia you've been bombarded with while here on this earth. This version of death is not meant to scare you, but to prepare you, because your soul doesn't just vanish when your physical body dies. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't face a final judgment from some cosmic authority figure. It goes on a journey in order to climb to higher levels by remembering, and it either sheds what isn't real or it clings to it and returns back to earth. This all means that your life right here and now on earth is the training ground. Every fear you face, every truth you uncover, every illusion you dissolve here on earth are not just emotional victories. They are your spiritual preparations. Because when your time comes with your physical body gone, a gatekeeper will ask, "What do you know?" Not about the world, but about yourself's soul. There is a reason your soul doesn't rise freely. There is a reason this earth we walk on always feels heavier than it should. Like a gravitational pull on you that goes beyond scientifically known physics. It is a pull you can't ever see, but always feel. This invisible pulling weight that you can feel has a name, the Archons, a name given by the ancients. These are not demons, they are the gatekeepers, forces of control. Cosmic bureaucrats of the system designed to keep your soul in a never-ending loop based on forgetting and obeying. They're not just on the other side, they are within you, within your thoughts, within your fears. They operate through illusion. They don't chain you with some form of metal, they bind you with certain negative beliefs. They want your soul to believe. This is all there is. Don't ask questions. As long as you obey, you'll be safe. They manifest through institutions, social norms, internalized shame, and fear of punishment. They feed on your soul forgetting, and the more you have a disconnect with your own soul, the more they have power over you. The Archons, confronting your soul's ascension to higher realms after your physical body's death. They never just simply stand aside. They challenge, they demand to know why your soul thinks it deserves to pass through to a higher level. And unless your soul has freed itself from the illusions of the material world, unless it has let go of the ego it has clung to in the physical body's life on earth, your soul will not be able to answer truthfully and will not be able to move on. Besides what all of this is saying about after death, it also says about life as well. Forces waiting for us beyond the veil, as well as with us here and now, all around us and within us. Every time you choose the comfort of conformity over the discomfort of truth, the Archons win. Every time you silence yourself to fit in, they feed. Every time you mistake survival for freedom, they grow stronger. This world wasn't made by a benevolent God, but a false one, a pretender, a blind architect who fashioned a realm of matter made to trap divine sparks within it. Those divine sparks are us, our souls, trapped in flesh, surrounded by illusion, distracted by materialism and taught to forget. The Archons are his agents, and their goal is simple: keep you distracted, keep you looping, keep you identifying yourself with your name, your status, your trauma, your possessions, all keeping your soul asleep from the truth. The Archons do not have real power. They only have strength through your soul's unconscious agreement. They only win when you forget what you truly are. The moment you truly remember that you are not your fears, not your failures, not your story, but something beyond time and matter, they lose. Because their power depends entirely on your soul's silence, its sleep. This gospel isn't just a spiritual text. It's a manual for liberation. It's a wake-up call for your soul about the forces that try to block your soul's ascent are the same ones that are influencing your choices in the here and now. Once you are aware and believe the truth, There will be times when you will doubt and fall back to your old habits, but that is all right because it's part of the process of learning the truth. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, truth over convenience, your soul over your ego, you rise. Your soul rises in preparation for the other side, even before your physical body dies. The key isn't to fight your way out, but to remember your way out. This gospel doesn't tell you to worship, to kneel, to obey. It tells you to awaken.